All right, folks, we're finishing up our two-way table unit, so we're going to kind of review this. So we'll review all of our ideas, and we're going to add one last little wrinkle to it. I think it's going to help us with that interpreting part from our relative frequency that was a little bit confusing. All right, so we're going to start off with a Venn diagram. And this Venn diagram is based on a survey given by a pet store about what shoppers in this pet store owned as pets if we're looking at cats and dogs only. All right, and this is what the pet store found. So we can take this information and now we can put this into our two-way table based on 78, 45, 125, and then 52. All right, so let's go ahead and get on that. I'll label this as cats, no cats, and then a total, dog, no perro, and then a total. And Mr. Lewinsky's a little bilingual, huh? Get excited, folks. All right, so that's what we have here. So we see that this joining part of our Venn diagram is what they both have in common. So we notice that 45 people have cats and dogs. I see this guy outside. 52 people that took the survey don't have any cats or dogs at all. And then we see that we have 78 folks have cats but no dogs. 125 folks have dogs but no cat. And then when I total this up, 123, 177, over on this side 170, 130, and no matter which way I go, column or row here, it gets us at 300, which is good. That's kind of what we want. All right, so now let's take this information and let's find the relative frequency. But before we find the relative frequency, our movie quote for today is, "If you build it, he will come." All right. So two ways that we can look at relative frequency. All right, so we're going to start by going by column, up and down here. So what I notice here is our columns here are labeled as cats and no cats. Now we're looking at the data going up and down in columns, but we still have to keep in mind what's going on over here with dog and no dog. And then we have to go by row as well. And when we do that, we have dog and no dog. But still, we still want to keep in mind that that is coinciding with the ideas of cats and no cats. All right, so I'm going to create my fractions here. Cat, 45 out of the 123. No cat, 125 out of the, 125 out of the 177. Cats with no dogs, that's 78 out of the 123. No pet at all, 52 out of the 177. So then I can take this information, I can divide them, and I can get fractions. Now these are going to be approximations, but when I divide 45 by 123, I'm about 0.36. When I divide here, it's about 0.64. When I divide here, about 0.71. When I divide here, it's about 0.29. Again, fractions can be turned into decimals, and the decimals can be turned into something else as well. Let's go to dog. Going by row, 45 out of the 170, and then 125 out of the 170, and then 78 out of 130, 52 out of 130. And then I can take this information, I can write these as decimals as well. When I divide these, I get about 0.27, and And this one's about 0.73-ish. This guy's exactly 0.6. This one's exactly 0.4. All right. So then I can take all of that information and I can create a nice, simple bar graph. All right. So let's create a bar graph here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll make it this way. We'll get this guy going over here too. So we got two separate bar graphs. One is based on relative frequency for columns. The other one's based on relative frequency of rows. All right. So this cat number right here, that 45 out of 123. So when we're looking at the column-wise, we're saying, all right, 45 out of the 123 people that said yes, they own a cat, 45 of them also owned a dog. So we can kind of say this is kind of like a both over here. And that's being compared to that 78 number, which is cat only. So that's one set of a bar graph. And then the other part over here on this side is going to be people that said, all right, they own a dog, but no cat at all. So that's a dog only. And this one is this section right here, this 52 out of 177, this is no pet at all. All right, so what I notice when I go to graph this information now is that, okay, both was at about 0.36. So I'm gonna go up. It's 10, 20, 30, about halfway. Make my bar graph. Cat only, about 0.64. So up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 in a little bit. And I have my two bar graphs in comparison. All right, so what that tells me is many more people are owning a cat as opposed to a dog and a cat. That's what the information's saying. The other side here, dog only, about 71%. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and a smidge. And then no pet at all. 10, 20, almost a 30, not quite. So what this is telling me is that many more people are going to own at least a dog as opposed to having no pet at all. All right, so that's what that means, frequency. That's what I am interpreting. Now let's look at by row. And we went by row. That first number, that 45 out of 170, that's really for owning a cat and a dog. All right, so we'll put both down again. And then the next part, that 125 or 170, that was a dog with no cat. So dog only, we'll say. And then our other row that we have, this is a cat only versus no pet. All right, so when I go to graph this information, the dog only, or sorry, dog and cat, both of them here, is about 0.27. So I'm going to go up 10, 20, right about there. And then dog only. So I own a dog, no cat, is about 73. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, then 3. So when I look at this information, I'm thinking, okay, out of everyone that's owning a dog, they're much more likely to own a dog as opposed to a dog and a cat. And then the other set of data here, owning a cat, so up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, right at there exactly, and then no pet, 10, 20, 30, 40. So this set of data here is telling me that, all right, they're much more likely to own a cat as opposed to no dog at all, or sorry, no pet at all. Which when we compare that to the other side, that makes sense. Those are kind of coinciding, but these two are kind of These two are also coinciding. They're not switched at all. So the data kind of is running pretty similarly. So that's what that interpreting part means. All right, so hopefully that totally didn't overload your circuits and you understood what I was saying here. There is a review sheet, problems on the front, couple problems on the back. You need to complete that on Google Classroom and submit it to Google Classroom somehow, some way. And then we'll be taking a quiz on Thursday of this week. Make sure you are stating the movie quote somewhere, somehow, some way. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Peace.